I'm Sheila, Fashion Design and Textile Art instructor, and I have my student Crystal Saavedra with me today. And I asked Crystal if she would come on her day off because she's extremely passionate for many reasons about this project. So I thought she'd be a great choice and add a lot to the conversation today. So project-based learning, I chose just a few of the elements to focus on. The first one is the challenging problem or question. So the question was or is this semester, how can we as fashion students act in a socially and environmentally responsible way as we create fashion? And so, Crystal, do you want to add anything here? She's going to make sure I don't forget anything. So, let me go to the next slide and then we'll talk. Okay, so we'll just go to the next. Okay, so another element that I focused on then is authenticity. And I always show my students a film called The True Cost. Are any of you familiar with this film? It's a documentary film, 2015, excellent, and it really focuses on the negative effect of this phenomenon called fast fashion on the environment and on humans. So notably third world countries, those emerging countries where we are sending now all of our clothing to be manufactured. We are in the 1960s, the United States is, can you guys hear me? Sorry about that. In the 1960s, we produced, in the US, about 95% of our clothing. And we only outsourced 5%. Now we are outsourcing about 97% and only manufacturing about 3% here. So it's concerning. And so that's one of the things the film talks about. And I want to let Crystal talk about something that is important to her, that sort of touched her when we saw this film and how this project evolved.
So I haven't always been like the luckiest person, I guess. So my mom's from El Salvador, and she came here when she was about 19 years old. She had me when she was 20, and it was a bit rocky when she first got here. I mean, she had me and my older sister, and so we weren't always in these middle class, upper class situations. I've lived in shelters. I've like had my clothes bought at Goodwill, so it was never something that I looked down upon. But in January, my younger sister and I went to El Salvador, and I always heard my mom talking about North Face and Nike, Patagonia, all these brands that we typically pay $60 and up for one thing. And she was telling me that hundreds or even thousands of pieces are being made for about 200, 500, something that didn't really add up, because I was like, that's not what I paid for it. So, and then it's also really sad for me in that I want to see El Salvador, which is where my mom's from, grow and prosper and become a country that I know it can be. But in making these changes that they have to make, the companies here are starting to look at other cheaper places. So my aunt's company was like, okay, we're going to start charging a little more. And like she said that slowly North Face started to disappear. Slowly Nike started to go away. And it's like now they only have certain brands. And so it kind of hit me like, whew, I'm paying all this money for this, and then these people are being overworked and like not treated the way that they should be. So why am I going to support something that wouldn't support me if I was in that situation? And then after watching the film, lots of people in our class was thinking about thrifting and creating our new fashion line, and then that's where it all started.
So what's important to note, I just want to repeat what Crystal just said, is now people are finding, we're trying to find manufacturing that's even cheaper than El Salvador. So her relatives are getting laid off. So it's crazy. So fast fashion, have you ever heard of fast fashion? You guys No. So it's kind of like the common industry term, and if you think of fast food, it's that sort of thing. So we can go to Forever 21, H&M, Zara, any of these sort of retailers and buy a t-shirt for $5, right? We can buy a blazer for $20. And then we are able to buy just tons and tons of clothing for really cheap, right? So what the students were exploring then was, what is the true cost? And so I asked them, they had to do some writing. Why is this film indeed called the true cost? So it's not the $5 t-shirt, it's the environment, it's human resources, and it's devastating effects. So anyhow, the students are very moved, on personal levels. Crystal's not the only one, and as well, all of a sudden they were coming in and telling me, Mrs. Sanford, we've started thrifting. We're not shopping at Forever 21 anymore. We're going to Savers or these different thrift stores, and we're getting our friends to do it too. And so this class just really embraced this idea that they're going to be, they're going to do something. Because I think one of the writing prompts I gave them was, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? Even if it's not as an industry professional, but what can you do as a consumer to sort of help the planet? So that's what they kept coming in. And then a student came in one day and she said, I was talking to so-and-so and we want to take a field trip to the thrift store. And I said, for what? So we need to have a reason, how's it going to fit into the curriculum, et cetera, et cetera. So then I said, let me think on it, and we'll go from there. And so then the next week they came in and decided, they had this idea. I was out for a day, they had a sub, they decided, we want to do a fashion line and everything should be thrifted. And so then we explored this idea of, we went on a field trip to Savers, the thrift store in Almaden Expressway. We had the store manager talk to the class about, now what happens to the clothing that you've donated? All of your fast fashion, where does it go? And so they told us they only sell about 10% of what's donated. And the rest of it goes where? Where do you guys think it goes? It goes back to those developing nations. So the $5 t-shirt ends up making a full circle. And so it's really hurting their fashion. There is no fashion industry. So we decided, fashion show this year, it's going to be a zero waste or even negative waste fashion show. I'm going to let Crystal tell you about the rest of that project. I talked too much.
So should I talk about what?
I talked about what you've done, your mood board, the fashion designers who came in and critiqued.
Okay. So for my group, Ms. Sanford told us to look through magazines, go through the fabric scraps, do whatever we wanted, and come up with an idea of what we wanted to do. And I was sitting there and I'm like, listen, how am I going to take this leather jacket and this magazine that I like, and this pink fabric, and these beads, and make a fashion line? Alright. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. And then slowly, like my group and I were like, okay, well, why don't we try these colors and these things? And then eventually we came up with an idea where our fashion line was going to be what we thought of a woman. But it was a very vague thing. Like we wanted it to be strong but soft, and dark but soft, and like it was just like opposites. And I was like, this isn't gonna work, but okay. So then we went to Savers. We had the time, and slowly everything started to come together. And it's like my group was super skeptical, but once we got to Savers and we started seeing everything, I was like, whoop, I know what we're doing with that, and like, let's go. And it just started to get bigger and bigger, and it hasn't been easy in that I've sketched like 4 outfits, and like each one has been canceled out in a way. But now, like, we're slowly getting it. And it's
the process of critique and revision.
We had the fashion designers come in, and one of the ladies, what was her name? Miss Lenore. She said that she would go to the Philippines and she'd have weavers make bags out of recycled paper, recycled plastic, and so it's like she came in, and so did Miss Rupa, and it was nice to see someone that was in the same direction that we were in. And then, yeah, I mean, I took my stuff home yesterday and I've been doing beading for about 6 hours. And it's,
On her day off.
yeah, and it's like part of, normally you wouldn't think about it, but at the same time it's something, in this project, it's something that you as a student want to do. It's not something where it's like, here's a book, do some of this, do this. Because I go to school every day and it's the same thing. And so through this project, it's like on your toes, there's a problem, figure it out. Like, if there's no problem, keep going, keep going, keep going until you find your next problem, and then you solve that one, and then you keep going until you're just all set. So, it's fun.
So we're gonna, another student put together a little slideshow for you guys of just the ongoing process work. And again, all of the, I just want to, two things I want to mention. All of the, they did a mood board and had it critiqued by a couple of fashion designers, developed a shopping list, we went on a field trip, and they sourced, so they were looking for materials they could upcycle and redo. And all of the money that was, each group was given a budget, all of the money that was spent thrift store that day was raised by the students at our holiday boutique in December. And they chose this group to spend that profit purchasing materials from the thrift store to use for their fashion show materials. So anyhow, enjoy this, and then we'll do questions. It was sort of an organic thing that happened, and it's funny how each year you get a group who, they just take off in a different way. This group was just, this was their thing, and so that was a blessing, because it really helped me just, I always have the framework, and then they just filled in what they wanted to do, and it worked out well. I think I would agree with Cassidy. The challenges for us being in groups is some of the students are absent, and they do drop. It does, like yesterday I had a group with just one person, and it was really hard for her. One thing that's helped a lot, though, I think I kind of thought, okay, I have to do something about this. So I developed this goal-setting graphic organizer, and Crystal can tell you about it. They just have to sit down as a group and set their goals for that day. So there's like 3 or 4 boxes. They have to fill them as a group at the beginning. And then after we clean up, then they get back together and they decide as a group, did we meet our goals? What could we have done differently when they analyze why didn't we reach our goals, or did we? What helped? And then tomorrow we will try the following. And they are getting major points for that. So if they're absent, that, that's 21 points per cent of this. So it's become kind of a big thing, but it's keeping them on focus.
So Chris, I wanted to ask you a question. So usually, typically, teachers assign you assignments or projects to do. What was different about this, and what did you like about this different techniques that come up with a project?
At first, I didn't like it. I didn't like the project. I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to a thrift store, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that. But then slowly, like, I started to see, there's this one girl in our class, Camille, and she has this way of talking to you that's just like, I'm gonna do it. And it's like, you're motivating me. Yeah, she like inspires you to just, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do it, and I can fail, I can fall on my face and look bad, but it's like, it's all good because I'm gonna do it. And so slowly I was like, okay, like let's go. And it's like, the fact that it's so hands-on and like it's not just, you do this and then forget about it. It's like you see the whole process from start to finish, and then she has people come in and talk to you so that you don't just go to the store and buy it. You see like how they have to sort through it and put it out there, and then like how it's scheduled and everything. And it helps you see and learn in a way that you normally wouldn't if you just read from a book. And I'm so happy for it.
Questions, comments? So Chris, I want to really thank you for sharing your story with us. That was really helpful for me too, and Sheila, what an spectacular. Thank you.